And good morning. We're going to do a show today like no other.
Whoa.
We'll let you see it right after this.
Season 4.
Season
40, not 4, or not 41, but 4.
No, that's, hey, good morning, Beth. That's
Good
supposed
morning,
to
Beth.
look like an exclamation mark. Like season 4.
Season 4.
Yeah.
In Bacon.
In
we have a
Bacon.
special guest.
Yep.
I'll introduce him. His name is JR. He's my older brother and partner in real estate crime.
Well, let's back off the crime there real fast.
We're real estate partners, and we work together, and we spend a crazy amount of time together, so why not have him come do the waffle?
Do everything
Well,
else.
thank you all for having me this morning.
It's not your first visit,
No?
but it's your first visit in this studio.
It's been at
it been a
least
while?
a year since I was on, and so this is my
longer
second
than
time in front of a camera. And your hair and makeup crew is wonderful here at this studio.
We've invested heavily.
I appreciate the beverage, and it's my second coffee, which is much needed, and I just feel very welcome.
You do? I'm going to make up fictitious makeup people. What would our makeup, Margaret, our makeup lady is just fabulous.
Yeah.
She's been doing it 40 years.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. 41, apparently.
41 years. Margaret's been our makeup professional.
Yep.
But no, JR is my brother. He's my older brother. I have a middle brother too. And like I said, we do real estate together, so we spend a lot of time together.
I haven't been on very much because Lauren and I are together most of the working week, kind of a Bonnie and Clyde style
Yes.
real estate business.
Keep veering into the criminal element.
I know,
here. There's
but
like
in a
twice.
criminal way.
you've,
I guess that's true.
There was a good quote yesterday. I can't
Beth?
remember it, but it was in regards to an Arby's French dip.
Oh, I remember the quote. Beth says your hair looks marvelous, JR.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth.
You look like you have a taco hat on right now.
Yes.
That's awesome. No, we often, it works really well for me to drive because one, I get motion sickness riding with other people. So I drive JR around a lot, and we go to listing appointments together. And people are probably just like, why are they always together? Well, it works good to have two people at listing appointments. Yeah. And it just does. And like yesterday, we met some people that we didn't know. And so it works good to have two people together. So we're often trying to figure out where to eat lunch, which is tricky. And JR's like, I'm thinking an Arby's French dip. And I'm like, that's not going to happen because we were trying to figure out something healthy to eat. And he's like, I'm just thinking about it. I'm not thinking it's going to happen.
I saw this on Facebook right before an exploding mailbox
Yes.
story. So what happened
to your
there?
mailbox?
So I'm glad you guys brought this up. Yesterday was a marathon day that included all sorts of real estate activities. We
Yes.
showed our listing in Republic, it's listed for 1.5 million. And
I'll take 2.
it's a pretty
incredible.
big deal. It's a beautiful house. Before that, we showed one for 195,000.
Yep.
Not near as nice.
A cool place.
Sounds like you get what you pay for.
But
Yeah, there's price difference there. Yeah.
I threw in some zero-turn lawn mowing in the city of Rogersville yesterday, and then turned over to Dad Detail, and then back to Republic. Got my kids, headed home, went to get the mail. The mailbox is not there. The post is there. I look on the ground. Somebody eastbound on Farm Road
I like how
170
he knows the direction they were going.
had relocated my mailbox either with a mirror or a bat.
I was going to say a softball bat.
And I look on the ground, and my immediate reaction is, I'll be darned, that son of a gun's going to go right back together. And so I get the kids in the house, get down there. All I needed was my little impact driver for one screw. Went right back together.
It was like a puzzle that blew apart.
Not a scratch. And I'm just like, I just don't know how it happened. Like,
I think somebody hit it with a mirror. I bet.
the physics of it, I don't see how it worked like it did, but
I would think that
She's
if it was a
standing
mirror,
tall.
you'd see mirror
Oh,
fragments.
I guess that's true.
I think you'd see
Could've been bad.
some pieces.
Yeah.
But if it was a bat, your neighbors should have been
That's what-
impacted
there
as
would've been
well.
other evidence.
So, there's a couple different ways to eyeball this.
first thing I did, I looked to my in-laws who lived to the west, and then I looked at my neighbor's mailbox, similar style mailboxes. Theirs were fine. So I'm afraid it may have been
A targeted hit.
a hit.
A hit job.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Somebody took out a hit
I-
on
Did you
your
file
mailbox.
a complaint with the HOA?
I think we were targeted. And
I think it was a vicious mailbox targeting.
many of us in town know Joe Thomas. He, our photographer,
To the
Yeah.
star
man
of
on the
Rogersville,
scene. I
yes.
mean, he always has the down low on Rogersville.
Yes.
And Joe lives 2 doors down, and so I'm anxious to talk to him about this incident and see if he has any
Get his feedback.
additional input.
Might have some footage. You
I would
never know.
Definitely file a complaint with the HOA.
You never know with Joe too. Sometimes he'll have his drone up, and
Yep.
he may have video.
May have evidence.
Yeah, there
video
may have been an
evidence.
eye in the sky yesterday.
That's
that
true.
would be handy if such a thing happened. But
The mailbox bashing is kind of like, I don't know. That's not, even when I was an ornery kid, that's not something I wanted to do.
no.
I don't really want to mess with somebody's mailbox.
Yeah.
What if there's like an elderly person in that house who,
Yeah.
just cannot get their mailbox
What if
fixed?
there's a mean older Gen Xer that like mounts the metal pipe like all the way up through the mailbox?
Yeah, that happens. Or like
Mm.
case them in concrete.
Mm-hmm.
It seems the risk and reward there seems off.
I think there's too many cameras anymore.
Yeah,
You can
there's a lot of
you can buy different sized standard looking mailboxes, and we actually have an oversized mailbox.
Yeah.
And as a tangent, we bought the oversized mailbox because our post person was cramming our Amazon boxes in there to the extent that one time I couldn't get it out. I had to
Strapped.
literally cut it out to get the box out of the mailbox. They shoved it in there so tight. So I thought, okay, we'll just get a bigger mailbox.
Yes.
Well, they just shoved bigger packages
boxes.
in
Yeah,
there.
that's what I was going to say.
Didn't solve the
Someplace
problem.
you can win
But,
with that.
you can get the bigger mailbox, get the smaller mailbox, put the smaller mailbox inside the bigger mailbox, and then put Quickcrete all around it.
I've heard of this legendary move
And
that people
if
do.
you've got a problem with the mailbox bashing, you won't after that. Someone will have a problem with broken wrists after that. That's the way that.
I mean, it's
situation works.
it's too risky. I don't know. Again, when I was an ornery kid, that's not something I decided to take part in. I just didn't. I'm just a no on that.
Yep.
No.
I may or may not have participated.
Confession is not
we would
required.
throw beverage containers at the
Yeah.
mailboxes.
Yeah.
And if you could hit the mailbox going about 30 miles per hour, that's a pretty wicked throw.
It is a wicked throw, but it really didn't
But
destroy the
I
mailbox.
never took the baseball bat. To me, that's
It was just more of a littering situation.
too nefarious, malicious, if you will.
Seems very targeted.
Nope.
'Cause, I mean, what if you missed that, $500,000 check coming from Zimbabwe that day, right?
Yeah, the Nigerians.
The Nigerians.
Your
What if you
Nigerian
missed
check
your
was gonna
Nigerian
be there.
check.
Typically, those get held up with customs.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and
Good to know.
Normally, it's a $100,000 million check.
Yeah.
Coming, held up at customs. All it's going to take is a couple of grand from you,
Yeah, and then they
to
issue
clear the
you-
legal fees
Yes.
with customs.
Yes.
And then you'll get your $1 million check from Nigeria.
That tracks.
Mine have
Everything I
always
just said is not true. It's a common scam.
Please don't do that.
Please don't do that. If you get that deal, no.
Mine have always been from Zamunda,
Zamunda.
Zamunda.
Is
Yes.
Zamunda a country?
coming to America.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. Yeah.
The one I'm seeing right
I
now
remember the
is
movie. I don't remember the name of the country.
we're getting a lot of emails that are receipts, like this is your PayPal
Yes, I
receipt
get
where you
that,
bought
yeah.
your this, or your PayPal transaction for $1,200 for the Bitcoin you ordered has
Yes.
cleared. Contact us. And then they're just wanting you to contact them and go, I didn't buy that, and they're like, oh well, what's your account number? What's
yeah.
your password? What's your birth date? What's your social
Yeah.
security number? And we'll get that refunded right away. And don't do that either.
Don't do that.
Like I've said before, if you get a shady email, let me know.
I've got a question.
Well,
You can
Beth,
explain that however you want to.
my toe is unchanged. Thank you very much.
He's got a toe situation.
Unchanged.
Oh, yes. Sometimes things don't work out the way you expect, right?
No, but I think ultimately I'm pretty satisfied with it. I guess the short of it is we had a misunderstanding between me and the clinic that was purporting to do this. I think the doctor was great. I don't want to disparage anybody unnecessarily, and it's entirely possible that they got really close to doing things right. But that's usually not quite good enough for me. But I mean, the story of apparently I was supposed to have a physical done before I can have toe surgery. Now, I know a lot of people have had major surgeries and never had a physical
That is kinda
required. So
weird.
this was outside of the
Maybe it's your age.
range of maybe.
Sorry.
Could be.
They may just want to make sure, like, your heart and stuff is good to have
Well,
surgery.
I get
That's
that.
my guess.
Sure, that's fine. I understand. That kind of makes sense. So, they call you, and they called me to say, we're going to call you and give you all the details. Well, first of all, they said, we're going to call you, and like a week went by, and I hadn't got a call. So I called them. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
when am I going to get this call?
Hey,
They're like,
what's up with
oh,
this?
we'll get to you. I'm like, okay, fine. So they call me, and I'm in my car, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell me all of the things that I've got. I said, listen, I can't. I'm in the car. I can't take notes.
Pump the
You want to
brakes,
call me
yeah.
later? No, we need to do this now. I'm like, I said, well, you're going to have. Can you email me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll email you everything you've got to do. I said that'll be fine. So at
Yeah.
that point, I'm kind of tuned out anyway because I'm going to get an email.
you're gonna
I
get
don't
an
need to
email.
listen. I never got an email.
Didn't come.
Apparently, in this email and allegedly on this phone call is when they tell me I've got to get this physical from my primary care physician. Well, I didn't get a physical from my primary care
Yeah.
physician because I didn't get an email and I wasn't paying attention to the phone call because I'm in my truck and I'm supposed to get an email that tells me everything about this. So then my wife gets a call and says, we're trying to get a hold of your husband because, sometimes I turn my phone off.
Yes.
And she
Most
said, okay, I'll
times.
tell him, call him back this afternoon. They didn't call me back that afternoon. They call me the next day. They get a hold of me and they said, you missed your appointment for your pre-phone call. I'm like, I didn't have an appointment.
Yeah, an appointment usually both parties know about.
Yeah, and there are things that I forget. There are things that I don't remember. There are things that I will be more than happy for you to tell me that I was wrong about that. My schedule and when I have appointments is pretty well mission critical for me.
Yeah.
I know when I have an appointment. It's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me I had an appointment because I'm going to know.
You're going to know.
I'm going to know. They said, we'll have to reschedule it. So that'd be fine. I said, when do you want to do it? They said, we'll call you Thursday afternoon. This is the Thursday we're leaving for Cape Girardeau.
Yeah.
But I figure I can take a
we
phone
talked
call in
about
the
that
car.
too.
Yeah, I figure we can take that phone call in the car. That's fine. We'll call you that afternoon. Fine. They call me at 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm in a meeting when they call, but I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to take this call. So I
Yeah.
get out of the meeting. And then they start going through all the pre-surgery stuff. This is how much it's going to cost you and your insurance and
Yeah.
all that jazz. And like, did you get your physical? I'm like, what physical?
Yeah. What are we
They're
talking
like,
about?
oh,
here?
you have to get a physical. I said, well, I had one in December.
Yeah.
No, that's not good enough. I'm like, really?
Which that's kind of weird.
I had one
because,
6 months ago. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
I said, well, I didn't get it. They said, well, you have to have a physical or have surgery. I said, well, surgery's Monday. I can't get one. I'm out of town.
Yeah.
They're like, well, then you can have the surgery. I said, well, that'll be fine. And I hung up.
Thank you then.
Then just bye. And so I didn't get surgery. It's a hammer toe situation. It's not that big a deal. I've had it for 20 years.
Situation.
Puts a little corn on the inside of my little toe. It's uncomfortable, but I've dealt with it. So I bought this strap off of Amazon for like $20.
Nice.
That you can like
Self-correcting
ratchet
hammer
your
toe.
toe around and strap it out. And allegedly, if you wear that long enough, it'll self-correct. So I wore it for like 6 hours one day, and I haven't put it on since.
You're just like, that was terrible.
No, it was fine. I just forget about it.
Yeah.
When I first put it on, I'm like, it's a little uncomfortable. And then my wife asked me, she says, what do you think? I said, I don't even notice it now. It's just fine.
Yeah.
And then about 4 hours later, I'm like, I got to take this thing off. It's killing me. It's like I'm shooting pain through my foot at this point.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they do, Beth. And I mean, it's unfortunate because it's not that hard to do things right. I don't care how big you are. If you use the right technology and the right people, you schedule things and you just make it happen. It's not that difficult. But that's the toe saga.
That's the
saga of my little toe.
The saga toe continues.
Yeah.
Beth got more than she bargained for on that deal. Toes and mailboxes this morning.
Mailbox.
Toes and boxes.
Pretty exciting stuff on the waffle. You just never know. I went to the Bandit 5K on Friday night. That was fun.
Yep.
Our friends over at Heartland Racing Co. Put that on. Emily
people.
specifically. Yeah. Keaton was, I believe, running. Cleaton was competing in something.
Oh.
And so Emily was running it. She did a great job. It was fun. We had about 70 people out. Heartland took it over this year, but a portion of the proceeds go to Rogersville Friends of the Park, so we're excited. And
Right, Beth. Yeah, you got it.
that's like, woo, okay. Next time I won't ask about the toe.
Well, you never know.
That's funny. No, it's good to get the whole story out there because, I mean, we made a big deal out of it last week. Like, we hope you're okay. There's no toe. There's no toe situation.
There is no toe
But
situation.
that was fun, and they had a good turnout at the park, and it's exciting to see the splash pad getting worked on over there.
Yeah.
Big construction happening at the park.
The Friends of the Park group has been pretty awesome. Talk about a grassroots thing.
Yes.
And that race in particular, the Bandit 5K, has brought people not from Rogersville into Rogersville to see the downtown area. And I think the runners have really appreciated that event. And so all the volunteers and particularly you helping get it started.
Yeah.
The Friends of the Park crew, I don't know them all. I know Chris Carter's been a big factor in that.
Yes, yeah.
And you can shout out anybody else.
Yeah,
you wanna
Chris and
shout
Amanda
out.
Larson was one of her other ones, and she's moved out of town. So we're kind of at the phase where we're winding down, right? That happens with these organizations.
Yep.
Amanda was one of our big members, and like I said, she moved into Springfield, and so we're kind of in the winding down phase, and we've got a good amount in our fund that's just waiting to be donated to the right project. And then we'll probably kind of wrap things up. But I mean, it was a 6-year run of volunteerism and organizing, and like obviously we didn't pay for everything at the park. The city of Rogersville paid for the majority of the improvements at the park, but it is really exciting to see from what the park was like when we started versus what has happened at the park. And again, we're not responsible for all of that, but I feel like it was a drop in the bucket of the momentum to get things moving. And, now the park has several directors and I think a bigger staff. We've got the walking trail, which that was a project born out of Friends of the Park. And now the splash pad, which was something that started probably back in 2019. It's finally coming to...
There's a real story of the history of the Rogersville Park, of all of that, of course.
Yeah.
And then, the hijinks involving the dinosaur.
The dino,
and,
the great dino theft of
Yeah.
20... I don't know
which
when that was.
received national attention.
It was huge.
Because Jace Robertson mentioned it on their podcast.
Which the funny thing is when the purple dino, and if you aren't familiar with the purple dino, it's a beloved piece of playground equipment at the Rogersville Park. It kind of makes it unique because it's this goofy purple dinosaur.
And got abersnatched.
And it disappeared. It disappeared during the building of the walking trail around the playground equipment. So it gone, and I got on the news about it, and how did we end up on the news?
I don't know who picked up the
Slow
story.
news day.
I had a picture of my son as a 2-year-old on the purple dino.
Yeah.
And he ended up on the cover of the Marshfield Mail.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
And it's super cute picture. But I mean, kudos to Chad Bybee. He tracked this thing down and was contacted by a guy in
up
Michigan.
north. Yeah.
Like in a trailer park or
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the story
Yeah.
where he had the exact
He
same
had the dyno.
Yeah, not the dyno,
the dyno,
but
he
one
had
that
a
looked
replica
exactly like
a
it.
replica.
of the dyno.
And
yeah.
Donated it.
And donated it.
Yeah.
because-
my understanding,
yeah.
he drove up there himself.
Yeah.
We got it loaded in a pickup, and the park is back together.
Park's back together.
It has a great walking trail, in part because of Friends of the Park.
Yeah.
The splash pad is coming together. Friends of the Park cheerleaded that project. A lot of people, had serious conversations. Is this going to work? Is it not going to work?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Is there
Good
a,
improvements for the
I don't
city.
want to open a can of worms if it's the wrong can of worms, but are we still doing anything with the skate park thing? That
It's hard to
sorta
get
had
momentum
a little
on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
okay.
really worked on that last year, and it's hard to get momentum because I mean it's a big project. It's about a $90,000 project, and Tatiana was kind of heading that up too, and we've recently there's been some emails sent, kind of going after some state funds potentially to get that done, but. Any of these projects, it's hard to get traction on them unless you just hit the right channel.
Well, it came to mind because in our drive back from Cape Girardeau, I passed a skate park and it was not concrete. It was
Yeah.
it was metal.
Yes, and that's the type of thing that we were kind of looking at.
Oh,
was
okay.
doing like a
Because
composite
I thought that
and
might
metal.
be cheaper.
No,
No? All right. Never mind.
no, it's a composite and metal park, and I can't remember the name of the company out of Joplin. I should know that. It's like ARC maybe, that we had talked with, and I think there's a glimmer out there of it, but is it going to happen? It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard. You got to get these projects are not easy to get done, and especially with limited funds.
Well, you need some skaters.
Yeah, we really needed some skaters to get behind it.
Some people that are actually going to
We
use
definitely
it.
have a lot of skaters in the community, but that, they're not jumping up to help with the situation. So, I don't know. But it's one of those things that, it's ever changing, it's ever flowing. But I'm excited about the skate park. If you go over there and look at it, if you haven't been over there in a while, the pavilion is up, and my understanding is you're going to be able to rent that out for birthday parties. And there's definitely like new directors at the park that are working hard to bring neat changes.
And this pavilion, this is on Main Street. Is this the one
No,
on Main-
this is on the park on County Line. So,
Oh.
yeah, the splash pad's going at the park on County Line.
Yeah. I was thinking, but we've got the other little
Oh,
skate park. I
yeah,
thought
we
that's
had-
where we're going to put the skate park.
That's what we had discussed, but I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's gonna work out or not. It's hard to get this stuff going. It is.
Yep.
It's been an interesting process learning about it,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
but yeah. So,
Let's talk
Check
a
out
little
the park.
bit about real estate.
Jared wants to talk about real estate.
Let's talk about
I've got hometown furniture for sale. We need to find a buyer for that property.
Yeah, we do.
It's over 15,000 square feet under roof. It has a standalone single-family house, and of course the businesses and lots of the business and lots of storage. So anyone out there, that's a big thing for Rogersville.
I
If we
think
can
so,
find
definitely.
a business or something good to infill that space,
It's a unique property.
It is.
it's ultra unique. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get the word out on it. We had an exciting sale that Lauren spearheaded, which was the Old Methodist Church.
Yep.
Has changed hands again.
Oh.
And it was really a labor of love from Lauren, that listing, reaching out to agents and finding someone who would kind of take over, let's
Kind of
say,
a
curating
project, yeah.
that property.
Yeah.
We think we found, or she did it. There's not much we, but found an investor for that who's kind of a known quantity in the Springfield market, and we're excited. I don't think anything is going to happen right away there, but I think it's a really good
It's a good
fit
step. Yeah, I think it's a good fit.
for that property. I think Lisa Ellison's excited. She's got a great business there, custom yarn, and I was able to take down my sign in front of her business. So her business is back in Clearview as you drive down and out B Highway leaving town. So we're happy to get that one wrapped up. Now we're really focusing on hometown furniture.
Yeah.
I think that it's changed hands now. It's too late for me to have this idea, but I think it would make a really cool, like if you do have to do some more construction on it, but you could make kind of a cool little Airbnb situation.
Oh yeah, it'd be a real cool Airbnb.
You know, like you could maybe 2 or 3 apartments out of it somehow, and I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of commercial real estate is an interesting bit of the market, and there is a whole lot of talking and connections that have to happen to get those deals together. I mean, it's a different beast versus residential. And, I think everybody thinks, oh, residential, you see the listings online and you go get them. Commercial is it's a different bird. It really is.
You're in it for the long haul. I recently helped sell the acreage just east of Cooper Estates in Springfield, and it was essentially a 2-year process for my part of it.
Yeah.
The family that was selling this farm had been working on it 5 years.
Wow.
They had been talking about this farm and what they're going to do with it since I was at Drury in 2001.
Wow.
Year 2000 as area, and we finally got that done. And I would look for that 50 acres to develop. Not right away. The buyer, it was 6 or 8 month contract period, and it may be another year or two before the buyer has everything together, and you see dirt moving. So
those are the kind of sales that I always think are interesting, because I always look from my eye and go, what was the capital gains impact on that sale?
Yeah.
Because I got a really cool way of dealing with that.
Yeah.
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 And so I'm always interested when people sell big property like that and have a big capital gain, especially commercial. I was explaining this to a client the other day. I said, listen, you're going to invest in residential real estate. You want to sell houses. Well, you're going to buy that rent house, you're going to pay it off, and you're going to depreciate it over the time that you own it.
Yep.
So when you sell it, your basis is going to be zero.
Yep.
Because you've depreciated it, and now you're going to sell it for $250,000, and you're going to owe $50,000 in capital gains tax if you're lucky.
And I mean, for the people who didn't hear that in the back, that's what happens on these investment projects.
Yeah.
Like, this is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. So you've got to have a plan to manage that tax liability, and I have a really cool one that generates a stream of income.
Yeah.
You offset. You don't pay any tax, and instead you get the significant portion of the sale of the property. You still get. You use a charitable remainder trust to offset your tax liability, and you convert what you would have paid in taxes into an investment portfolio that pays you a stream of income for the rest of your life. It's really cool, but you got to know the right people to make it happen.
Well, and I mean, it's, so Jared and I usually have some sort of investment project going on, and right now it's one on Front Street, and we just got a new roof on it, and it's amazing what a new roof can do, and it looks like a completely different property right now. But people are always like, oh, we need all these businesses in town. I don't think they have any concept of how difficult or expensive that is. And then also when you sell those, especially if you own the building and you sell them, the tax liability from those sales can be massive.
It's absolutely significant, especially if you've got, someone there that's already an income, someone with, a family, and you've got pretty good income, and then you add more income to that from the sale of a business. It's significant dollars involved, and
yes,
tax strategy is not something that's talked about a lot in business. I think a lot, or in real estate, a lot of people are solely focused on how many doors can you get. I want to build this rental empire.
Yeah.
And that's what you see on TikTok and YouTube. And, I'm going to get 100 doors. And I with debt service right now, too, to me, that sort of thing's not the most attractive.
Yeah.
But and guys like Will provide an invaluable service in these real estate deals.
Well, what we see all the time, regardless of what business it is people will like, oh, golly, talk to the professionals, the CPAs, the lawyers, the insurance guys, whoever. I could buy inventory, I could buy advertising instead of spending it on that. And it just comes back to bite you in 2 or 3 years when you realize your LLC is set up wrong. You didn't have your tax strategy in place. It's so much cheaper to do it right on the front end than it is on the back end. But that's all we need to say about that.
One of my huge advocacy things as far as my real estate practice, if you will, is your primary residence. It's so well protected by our tax code. You know, if it's your primary residence 2 out of the last 5 years, and if you're a single person, it's less than $250,000 profit. Married person, less than a $500,000 profit. You're going to put that in the bank. It's not taxable.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. And so I really encourage our clients, and before you go out and get rentals, take care of your primary residence. You're putting that money in the bank.
Yep.
When you're making good improvements. I mean, even cleaning your house is an income-producing activity. If your house
That's crazy to think of, yeah.
if your house is clean, it's worth more. And when it's worth more and it sells someday, then you're not paying taxes on that. And it's just a unique
a clean,
situation.
maintained home not only improves your daily life, but it improves your financial welfare down the line.
Well, it's something we didn't do because we live on family land and we always have. But,
Yeah.
The ability to say, I'm going to buy this house. We're going to live in it for 3 to 5 years. We're going to maybe fix it up a little. We're going to sell it. We're going to bank the profit.
yeah.
We're going to get another house. We're going to live in it for 3 to 5 years, fix it up, sell it, bank the profit. That's a real wealth building strategy.
It is, yeah.
And it's
It
just
is.
kind of your lifestyle. You just have to
is.
be willing to move every 3 to 5 years, which frankly I'm not.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can make $1 million that way.
Oh, yeah, you definitely can.
A lot of people have,
A lot of people have,
in our
yeah.
area. And a lot of
Yeah.
people have paid cash for their 5th or 6th house.
Yeah.
I paid cash for a house in 2017. I'm mortgaged now, but in 2017 we had done that enough. I did most of it as a single person. Got married in 2012, and we moved a couple houses, and then this one we built out here, very close to the studio in Patriot Place. We built with Bustle. We paid cash. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think it's become a little trickier to do that, though, in
It is.
recent years because prices have increased. Like, if you've bought in the past 3 years, it's a little harder, I feel like, to move up.
You're going to hold a little longer.
Yeah, you're probably going to hold a little longer because, it's hard to move up into a house that maybe the price, that makes sense for the price to do that.
Yeah.
But,
Smart improvements is what need to be made right now to get the equity
yeah.
to kind of have this strategy of moving every 2 or 3 years and
Yeah.
making a little and then going to the next one and
Yep.
so on and so forth.
Well, we're doing the other way. We're just remodeling our house, which is,
Which I think is great too, because if your house no longer fits your need, usually you can do something. In your case, a big project, and make it work.
and with great local professionals.
That's
we got Laura Dougherty, a local on her own architect, did the whole deal. Super cool. Did I show you? We have a video walkthrough.
I haven't seen the video walkthrough.
Oh,
Tell me
man.
about it. Laura's
It's-
awesome.
yeah, it's
What a-
really cool.
What a gem in the Rogersville community.
Jonathan, and she'll be here on the show. She's going to come.
that's exciting.
She's going to be a guest on the show, I'm pretty sure.
That's very exciting.
Jonathan Randolph, Rhino Built, is our contractor doing it all. Great local guy, great work.
Yeah.
Trustworthy. So
It's very good.
There are fabulous home improvement professionals in and around Rogersville. Rogersville's home of some of the best custom builders in the area. You don't hear a lot about these guys because
They're just busy.
they're building awesome houses, and they
Keith
don't.
Snyder,
They don't.
if
They
you
don't.
got any water problem, and we all do, he can fix it.
yeah. Yeah.
These guys don't need to advertise. So I mean, Kenson Goff comes to mind. Brian Powell comes to mind. David Pitts. So it's or Doug.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Doug.
Dave's his dad.
I've another contractor named David Pitts. It's good. But Doug's awesome. So I mean, just some incredible custom home builders in the area. I've got a client right now that just sings Gary Ballard's praises.
Oh, yeah.
Really pleased with the house that Gary's building. I think Gary's in his 70s, still building in the area. So kudos.
I feel like
to
Rogersville has always attracted a lot of talent to the town. I think it's because, I don't know, just kind of a like-minded group of people end up here because they like having the opportunities of the big town of Springfield, but they also want to live a little bit,
More
slower.
rational
Yeah.
without the crazy.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, before we get out of here, I'd just like to say, if you want to take a little little mini vacation about 4 hours away.
Oh yeah, I want to hear about your trip. Yeah.
It's pretty Cape Girardeau.
Was it nifty?
It was nifty. It
That's
was really
cool.
cool. We got a little Airbnb, which was very nice, very affordable, within walking distance of the river, the Mississippi River, and the river walk there, and then their downtown area, and there's an Irish restaurant down, a little Irish
fun.
pub. There's an amazing Cajun restaurant called Broussard's, which was
I
fantastic.
do like me some Cajun.
I have eaten there. It's excellent.
Yeah, and then there was we found a pho restaurant.
No joke.
Vietnamese pho was really good. We found a Thai restaurant. There's tons of really cool places to eat. There's a little historical if you want some historical vibe. There's that.
Neat.
There's a bunch of funky little shops about there. Like there's this one little place. It's like a kind of like a flea market bazaar where there's different vendors and there's all this stuff in there, like those old games, metal games used to have. Well, when I was a kid, probably probably before y'all's time. But and then. We took the kayaks and we went to Lake Girardeau and went out and paddled around for a while.
Cool. So it was a good little trip.
Yeah, it was a good little trip. 4 hours away. I mean, it's not St. Louis, it's not Kansas City, it's nothing like that, but it's quiet and it's out of the way and there's some places to go
That's
and
cool.
things to do. And I mean, I don't know that I wouldn't probably spend 2 weeks there or anything or a week, but
Just
we
a
were
long
there.
weekend was good.
Yeah, we were there for 3 nights. It was we drove up Thursday, stayed 3 nights, drove back Sunday. It was great.
That's cool.
Fun
Very
little trip.
good.
Yep.
And happy anniversary too, because that was your anniversary trip,
Yep,
right?
29 years.
29.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very cool.
Very cool. It was a good trip.
There's a lot of neat little places around like that, like a couple hours away, and that's the cool thing about living where we live, right? You're kind of close to lots of different stuff, so I like it.
Well, and this was our first Airbnb, and it was a great experience. I'm sure people have bad experiences. I think that's a lot less common than it used to be because I think that model is kind of.
I think they've worked out the kinks for the
Yeah, a
most
little
part.
bit. But, anymore, if you're getting an Airbnb, you're not staying. Like when you first did it, you were staying in somebody's house.
Yeah.
They just weren't going to be there for
Yeah, that
You just
seemed-
stayed in their house.
There's so many ways. That
And now all these Airbnbs, they're not somebody's house.
no,
They're
nobody
set
knows
up.
them.
It's a very competitive industry.
Yeah.
And
It
you
is,
have to have a
yes.
good product to attract good folks that want to stay with you.
Yeah, well, and
And
everybody's rated. If
Yeah.
you're a guest, you've got a guest rating, and so
I owned one in Ozark for 2 years with a partner, and it was a house built in 1877. And it was a learning experience. It was well managed at the time by a third party, and we just gave them a percentage. But I learned a lot from that, and we tried to have a really beautiful product that would compete with other Airbnbs just coming out of the ground in Ozark, and you got to have a good product if you want folks to stay the night.
Well, these people, I mean, there was TVs in there, and they were Fire TVs.
Yeah.
And so you could log in, you could go to Netflix and enter your Netflix information, have your Netflix account, whatever you wanted to watch.
Real handy.
Yeah, it was really cool, and our kayaks are kind of neat. We've got our
Kayak thing is cool.
We have folding kayaks.
Yeah.
They fold up.
This was the thing
Yeah.
until Will was talking about it.
Yeah, they fold up. They're called Tuck Tech, and so they fold up, and you can carry them over your shoulder, and so you don't have to like the big racks and trying to transport them. You don't have to do any of that,
My goodness.
and you can unfold them and be in the water in 5 minutes.
Which is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, it's real fast. It's real easy. Now, bad story with a happy ending.
Okay.
So, launched my kayak for the second time in Lake Girardeau, and the sides buckled.
Oh no.
Yeah, so not bad enough that the water was getting in, so we went ahead and kept paddling around, but I had to keep my eye on it.
Yeah.
So this is not ideal.
Yes.
So
Crocs in Lake Girardeau.
Big Crocs.
I took pictures, and I had registered the kayak, and I emailed customer support
Yeah.
and sent them the pictures, and they said, "Okay, we'll send you a new one."
Really?
Yeah, and they're just sending me a new one, and it's going to be here Thursday. Because
There
I think
you go.
I think Friday night we're going to help out Keaton. He's got an Ironman, and so we're going to get our kayaks and we're going to look for people drowning.
Excuse me, sir. Are you drowning? You're good. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
My goodness.
We're not actually going to, if we find someone's drowning, we're not actually going to help them.
Like alert, we have a
There's like,
drowning.
somebody needs to help
Over
this
here.
person. There's
We got to drown.
So do these kayaks inflate, or do they just fold out?
they just fold out.
They fold
Yeah, it's
out.
like origami.
Fascinating.
wild.
Yeah. I got some pictures I'll show you after.
Very
after the
interesting.
show.
And they fit in Shelby's Bronco.
Yeah, which is obviously just like Lauren's Bronco.
Yeah.
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 Throw 2 of them in the back with all of our luggage and everything else. Plenty of room. No big deal.
With her seats down? Or
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
yeah.
I figured the seats
I mean, we
had
could
to be
put
down.
one seat down and get both of them in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, seats down. Sure. They're great. We
Isn't
love
it
them.
an amazing world we live in?
Yeah.
All right. Well, JR is going to be hosting with us next week again since Chris is on his summer sabbatical.
All right.
And so if you have any burning questions for JR, think of them. Hold them for next week.
You got a week.
He'll be back. It can be anything. He'll answer.
AMA.
And we're always available here in town,
Oh, yeah.
too. I mean, we are at the train tracks,
Yeah.
you know.
It's AMA.
We're
with
getting
J.R.
on the
Hutcheson.
trains. We're getting off the trains. You can always find us at the train tracks
At the train track.
here in town.
Next to the bakery. It
And your
smells
little
delicious.
logo down there under me on the
Yeah, our
screen.
logo's been there for years now.
Years now.
We have we pretty well have the best office on the planet. I mean, how we talk about this frequently. How did we luck into sharing an office with a bakery and people we like?
I know.
Like, how did that happen?
It's a good deal.
Like, it's like, you know, the bakery, they're almost like our coworkers, except obviously we have two completely different businesses running out of the same building.
Only in Rogersville.
And Murney Associates has been a great fit for us.
yeah.
We were formerly a Reese Nichols office, and we really appreciate our broker and their support
Good.
here in town. So it's a good organization.
It's very good.
We're proud to work for them.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, JR, thanks for being here. Look forward to you being here next week. Everybody,
Thank you
thanks for
all.
watching, and we're going to sign off. We'll see you
See
next
ya.
Have a great day.
Bye.